Let me ask you something. When someone asks you, "Who are you?" what do you say? You probably say your name, maybe your job, maybe you say, "I'm a father," or "I'm an entrepreneur," or "I'm someone who's been through a lot." And here's the thing, none of those answers are wrong. But none of them are completely right either. Because what you just described is your story, your labels, your roles. And Indian philosophy, thousands of years ago, looked at this exact human habit of collecting labels and attaching our whole identity to them and said, that's where all your pain is coming from. So today, we're going to talk about the psychology of the self. Not the self-help version, not the Instagram version, the real version. The one that philosophers and sages sat with for centuries. We're going to talk about why your ego is not your enemy, but why mistaking it for yourself might be. We're going to talk about layers, the layers of your being, most of which you've never even visited. And we're going to talk about a concept called vairagya, which gets translated as detachment, and which everyone assumes means don't care about anything. Spoiler, it means the exact opposite. Let's get into it. Picture this. You meet someone at a party. They ask the classic question, "So, what do you do?" And you say, "I'm a software engineer." Now, that answer just did something very interesting. It didn't describe what you do for 8 hours a day. It described who you are. I am a software engineer. Not I work as one, I am one. And here's where it starts getting psychologically spicy. Because the moment you say, I am something, your brain starts defending that identity. If someone criticizes your work, it doesn't feel like criticism of your code. It feels like an attack on you, your worth, your existence. If you lose that job, it doesn't just feel like a career setback. It feels like an identity collapse. Sound familiar? This, exactly this, is what Indian philosophy calls Ahankara. Now, that word gets thrown around a lot. People use it to mean pride or arrogance, like uske andar bahut ahankar hai. But the original Sanskrit meaning is far more precise and far more interesting. Ahankara literally breaks down like this. Aham meaning I, Kara meaning the maker of or the doer of. So Ahankara literally means the I maker. It's the part of your mind that takes all your experiences, your memories, your roles, your opinions, and stitches them together into a story and says, this is who I am. It's not evil, it's not the villain. You actually need it to function. Without some sense of I, you couldn't make decisions, you couldn't protect yourself, you couldn't even finish a sentence. But here's the trap. When you completely identify with your ahankara, when you think this story is me, these labels are me, you've essentially locked yourself inside a very small room and thrown away the key to a much bigger house. And that bigger house, that actual you, is what the Upanishads call the Atman. Now the Atman, let me be real with you, is one of those concepts that sounds cosmic and abstract when people explain it. Sages sitting on mountains, mystical light, that whole vibe. But I want to bring it down to earth for a second. Because the experience of Atman is something you've already had, multiple times. You just didn't have a word for it. Think about a moment. Maybe it was watching a sunset. Maybe it was holding a newborn. Maybe it was completely zoned into music or a sport or a creative project, where for just a few seconds, you forgot yourself. Not in a bad way, in the most free way possible. Your name didn't matter. Your job title didn't matter. Your anxieties went quiet, your labels fell away. And for that moment, there was just presence, pure awareness, no commentary, no performance, just being. That feeling, that quiet, spacious, uncluttered awareness, that, according to Indian philosophy, is the closest you get to your Atman in everyday life. The Atman is not a thing you have. It's not your soul sitting somewhere in your chest like a little glowing ball. It's more like it's what you are when you peel away everything that you think you are. The Bhagavad Gita puts it beautifully, and I'm paraphrasing. It says, "The self is never born. It never dies. It cannot be cut by weapons, burned by fire, drowned by water, or dried by wind." Now, if you're hearing that for the first time, your rational brain might go, "Okay, that sounds like poetry, very nice, but what does it actually mean for my life on a Tuesday morning when everything is falling apart?" Fair question. Great question, actually. Here's what it means practically. Your Atman, your true self, is not dependent on your circumstances. It doesn't change when your relationship ends. It doesn't shrink when you fail. It doesn't expand when you win. Your Ahankara does all of that. It goes up and down like a stock market. One good comment, euphoric. One bad review, crushed. But underneath all that noise, there's something that just watches. Something steady. Something that was there when you were 5 years old and will be there when you're 85. That's what the sages are pointing at. And the entire project of Indian philosophy, the yoga, the Vedanta, the Upanishads, all of it is essentially asking one question. How do we remember what we actually are, instead of spending our whole lives defending what we think we are? And that question leads us to something called the Pancha Kosha, the 5 sheaths, or, as I like to think of them, the 5 layers of your being. Because here's the thing, the gap between your Ahankara and your Atman, between your ego and your true self, is not a philosophical gap. It's not some unreachable mystical space. It's a journey inward through actual identifiable layers of your experience. And most of us, we spend our entire lives living in just the first 2 layers, never knowing what's waiting deeper inside. In part 2, we're going to map those layers, all 5 of them, in plain language with real examples. And we're going to talk about how you actually move through them, not through some dramatic spiritual experience, but through small, intentional shifts in how you live. Stay with me, it gets really good. Before we go to part 2, I want to leave you with just one thing to sit with. Today, just notice how many times you say, "I am," followed by a label. I am busy. I am tired. I am successful. I am a failure. I am someone who can't do this. Just notice. Don't judge it. Just watch the Ahankara in action. Because awareness, just noticing, is already the beginning of meeting your Atman. See you in part 2.